allegations. All of these parties would have somebody accused of this. We've got Steenhuisen, who just appointed somebody accused of being a racist, as a...
Colleen Makubele.
Yes, ma'am.
You're talking about the ANC. I'm asking you about the people who are in MK. You've not chosen to join the ANC.
I'm answering
but
your
let's
question.
not talk about
whataboutism.
It's not about the other party. Let's talk about MK and your decision to join MK, where these MPs have been sworn in.
You've asked me a question. You may not like MK party, you may not like my move, but allow me to answer the question the way I feel.
What I'm trying to say is this is not about the ANC. It's about the MK party, and I'm asking you to stick to the topic.
I'm not rearing off. If you allow me to answer, you will hear where I'm going.
Go ahead, answer and stick to the topic of the MK party, please.
Welcome everyone to another epic episode of Newsology Media, the channel that talks about politics in South Africa and what is happening. So the MK party has issued a media statement, and they've called out the SABC and Samkelo Maseko of lying about the war between their chief whip Mzwanele and the deputy president John Hlophe. And they've disputed that and accused the SABC of spreading fake news. So now today I want us to talk about the character Samkelo Maseko as a journalist or a politician. I like what Pambo said to him, right? So when he called him out to say that, Samkelo, you are not a politician. Do you remember this? Watch here.
Vuyani Pambo, between you and I, we know we are both political animals, but Vuyani, okay, Mr. Vuyani, you know that in politics, there is never a coincidence. In every meeting that takes place, there is an agenda, there is a road ahead that is going to be reached. They say there are no permanent friends, there are no permanent enemies. That is permanent interest in politics. Are the interests of Julius Malema and former President Jacob Zuma converging in this current political conjuncture?
Well, I mean, I don't think you're asking me anything. You are trying to be a politician, Samkelo, and you're not at this point. You're a journalist. So don't say me and you are politicians. No, stop that thing.
So the big question is why Samkelo always speak tough and with the boldness as if he has some hardcore evidence about a particular subject. So Mzwanele confirmed and write on his X platform to all media, interested parties and rumor mongers, and he just tapped the Umkhonto weSizwe media statement. MK party dispels false claims of leadership dispute, which he gave the same letter, and is disputing the argument between him and the deputy president John Hlophe. That is Tole at Mfoka Jobe. Samkelo Maseko has never reported anything about the MK party. We always relied on Twitter, Facebook and TikTok, but suddenly he is deep in. Watch out, commanders. The mandate to destroy the MK party is out. Developing, there appears to be a fallout within the MK party caucus between Chief Whip Mzwanele and caucus leader Dr. John Hlophe. That was Samkelo Maseko doing an interview with his co-host on the SABC, reporting about the matter of the fight. Media statement, 14 February 2025, MK party dispels false claims of leadership disputes. The MK party strongly condemns the deliberate spread of misinformation regarding an alleged dispute between our chief whip Keda Mzwanele and the party leader Keda Dr. John Hlophe. Certain social media accounts, particularly sponsored ex-media accounts and sections of the mainstream media, most notably the notorious News 24, have irresponsibly circulated false claims, including the outright fabrication of a supposed physical altercation between our two leaders in parliament. We categorically state that these allegations are entirely baseless. It is disingenuous to characterize internal party discussion as a fight that allowed a physical confrontation. Such distortion serve only to mislead the public and undermine the MK party's credibility and our principles of discipline. We are particularly disappointed in the SABC, an entire public broadcaster, for recklessly amplifying this false narrative. As a supposed public institution, SABC has a duty to uphold journalistic integrity, yet it chooses to peddle baseless gossip instead of factual reporting. MK Party once states that against the wishes of those who fear the power of the MK Party and attempt to drive a wedge amongst our leadership, we remain united and steadfast in our mission to serve the people of South Africa. We call all media outlets and journalists to report responsibly and to resist being used as an instrument of political propaganda to drive narrow political mandates and short-sighted agenda. So the MK Party in this letter gives a very clear distinction to say that no, there was a discussion among the caucus. It was not a fight, it was not physical, they were not shouting, they were just discussing about their own business, right? So it seems like Samkelo overheard and came in now to the SABC and he was asked about this and he reported on this and he spread this to say that there is fight in the MK Party. Remember, this comes after the war between the Duzile Zuma and the SG of the MK Party, Floyd Shivambu. So now it was just like, okay, the MK Party from down to up, they are fighting the leaders and they are just fighting each other. So they've called out the SABC and Samkelo Maseko to say that, News 24 to say that to stop lying and pushing the propaganda to report fake news. So let us go back now to the MK Party.
Essentially, and there are leadership tussles within the MKP. It does not only emanate between the tussle between Tutizile Zuma Sambula and also Floyd Shivambu, the Secretary General. It emanates from a weekend workshop where the MKP caucus members and the National Assembly felt as if the national leadership of the MKP is very distant from the caucus, and it also went further to allege that there are those spousal flights or tickets that are there for members of parliament for their spouses. The leadership of the MKP wants to take those particular flights in order to be utilized by the leadership of the MKP as and when they need to fly around the country. This has seemingly irked the MKP caucus members within the National Assembly, saying that this is a direct replica of what is currently happening within the economic freedom fighters. There was also a view that the EFF constitution is coming to be implemented within the MKP to the T by the Secretary General of the MKP, Floyd Shivambu. That has ultimately culminated in Judge John Hlophe as well. Now, his people within the caucus of the MKP alleging that he was given a poorly crafted speech by the chief whip, that would be Mzwanele Manyi, on the allegation that it came from the highest office within the MKP, from former President Jacob Zuma's office. That ultimately led to John Hlophe meeting with former President Zuma, or the president of the MKP, Jacob Zuma, who further clarified to him that it's not true that he said a speech must be written to him, because the MKP president was also very much unhappy about the standard of the speech that was delivered at the State of the Nation address debate by the MKP caucus leader John Hlophe, and it emanated that the speech was an attempt of an alleged sabotage by the chief whip of the MKP, Mzwanele Manyi, against Dr. John Hlophe, who is the caucus leader of the MKP in Parliament, and that ultimately ensued in a huge debate that ensued in a caucus meeting after the debate yesterday.
So, is Samkelo Maseko a private investigator, or is he a politician, or is he a journalist? I'm not saying that journalists must not participate in anything and asking tough questions, right? Yes, he does that, which is good. But now, when you do that, pushing the narrative of fake news, now that is something else, because that is improper journalism, right? Why are you giving false information, spreading lies about others, and you are giving it to the public? Because when you give something and you are using the media, right, and you are talking to the people, people will accept what you are saying because they believe that journalism is free, it is honest, and they report based on truth and facts. But now if you run with the story without having any facts, like what you are doing with the MK party and like what you did with the EFF, then there's a problem. We must question your journalism. Whether are you the right journalist or you are just a politician who's pushing a certain narrative and agenda to serve some people that we don't know. We better watch out for such politician. And it is not only them. You remember the newsroom lady that goes by the name of Michelle Gregg, when she had an interview with the MK party member Colin Makubele, when she asked Colin to say that tell us about why you, the MK party, have the likes of Tlantanene, like Montana, Siyabonga Gama, Brian Mulife. All those people who were accused of corruption, right? And you know what is happening? Colin Makubele responded and said that no, those were just allegations. Those people have a right to serve because there was no foundings against them of doing any wrong. Those were just allegations. She was angry. She was angry. This lady was angry. Michelle Craig.
After the MK party had, I think it was 10 new MPs, 10 new MPs, members of parliament, sworn in by the National Assembly Speaker, Togo Didiza, yesterday. Among them is former Eskom CEO Brian Molefe, former PRASA CEO Lucky Montana, and former Transnet CEO Siyabonga Gama, all of whom have been implicated in the Zondo Commission of Inquiry, or they've faced fraud and corruption charges relating to the SOEs that they once led. They are all, at the very least, tainted by allegations of corruption. Do you believe that they are best placed to guide South Africa to this future that you're describing?
Those people have been allegedly, there are allegations around them. Maybe let me put it in that way. But they have not been found guilty in the court of law. And most of the parties that you see, ANC, we've got a Minister of Justice now that has allegations. You know, we had Zizi Kodwa was in the ANC with allegations. All of these parties would have somebody accused of this. We've got Steenhuisen, who just appointed somebody accused of being a racist, you know, as a...
Colleen Makubele.
Yes, ma'am.
You're talking about the ANC. I'm asking you about the people who are in MK. You've not chosen to join the ANC. But let's not talk about whataboutism. It's not about the other party. Let's talk about MK and your decision to join MK, where these MPs have been sworn in.
You've asked me a question. You may not like MK party, you may not like my move, but allow me to answer the question the way I feel.
What I'm trying to say is this is not about the ANC. It's about the MK party, and I'm asking you to stick to the topic.
I'm not rearing off. If you allow me to answer, you will hear where I'm going.
Go ahead, answer and stick to the topic of the MK party, please.
So all the parties, if you look at it, they would have whoever is accused of. So MK party is not unique in somebody that may have some allegations against them.
She was saying even in the ANC, there are people who had allegations of corruption. Name them like Zizi Kodwa, like this, like that. And this lady, Michelle, just lost it. She came out and accused the Colin Makubele and said, then Colin Makubele was like, no, wait. Don't use now your emotions and your feelings. Just imagine a journalist that's supposed to be neutral. That showed how people hate the MK party. So it is the EFF and the MK party, they are under attack. Why? We don't know. But it seems like there are forces that are pushing these journalists to become politicians and to become so very decisive and attacking politician leaders just like that. But you know, one thing that you can do for me, please, you can subscribe and you can leave a comment and you can press the super thanks button until we meet on the next video, and I'm out.